Hello again, YouTube. So today's video is going to be an inbox review of the IAR 80 from Hobby Boss in 148 scale. I hope you like the video. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to see when I upload new videos, just ring that bell so you can get notifications on it. So today we're looking at this Romanian IAR 80 from Hobby Boss in 148 scale. The IAR 80 was a aircraft they started building in 1939, and it was ahead of it. It was a good aircraft when they started with the design, but because of production delays, it wasn't produced until 1941, and by that time it was already a bit behind. But it was still a good aircraft that they used until 1945. Like Hobby Boss usually has, they have this nice color sheet. And the camouflage is pretty cool looking. So on the other side is another version. Pretty much the same colors, just this one has a clover on it. And this one has a cross on it. The instructions, like a lot of aircraft, starts here with the cockpit. And it looks like it comes with seat belts. It looks like, which is cool. A lot of them are missing seat belts. There's a lot of controls here. Putting the, cockpit pieces in the fuselage. Step 2 there. Then we're putting the fuselage halves together, building the motor, which, for a 1939 aircraft, this has a rotary, doesn't have an inline engine. It has, so it's pretty cool, because I thought mostly they weren't like that. Even though the Focke-Wulf 190 was also around a little bit later, I think, actually, than this was designed. But it looks pretty good. It looks like it has 4 rows of pistons. Then build the wings. Put the wings onto the fuselage. Then we have flaps, horizontal and vertical. The flaps, and the horizontal stabilizers, and the rudder. The cowling, cockpit, glass, which I always do last after I spray it. Then we're building the landing gear, and then it's just about finished. Here are intake and small detail parts, weights for the flaps, propeller and hub, antenna, and pivot tube. Pretty simple build. Wouldn't take very long, I don't think. But I can't build any aircraft right now. I think I might start on a tank pretty soon, though. Tanks end up being smaller when they're built than they are in the box. Aircraft aren't the same. Totally ripping this plastic. Actually wanted to put the parts back in it. Take a look at these parts. A little zoom on the parts. Recessed panel lines. There's no rivet holes, but it was a duralum body, so it wouldn't have any. Here's the bottom of the cockpit. It looks pretty good. The landing gear. No, not landing gear. Here's the pedals. Some control levers and such. The seat. The seat looks good. It has no pin mark in the middle like you see often on aircraft. I don't understand why there's always a pin mark in the middle. If you're going to put a pin mark in the middle, you should put a pilot there, which some of them don't have a pilot with them. Little flash here on the cowling. Pin marks all over the inside of the cowling. It's going to need a little cleanup, but it doesn't have to be all that well cleaned up because there won't be seen that much. The engine will block most of it. But these here in the front I would clean up a little bit. The ones in the back won't get that bad, unless they're blocking the fit of the engine. The interior detail. The only interior detail is here, where the pilot is. And it looks pretty good actually. Sometimes they're just blank walls, and that's like... I like a little attention to detail on the aircraft, or on the models, and not just, you know, throw something in a box and call it good. But it seems like you used to do that a lot. And it also seems like some companies still do it, unfortunately. Okay, here's the second tree. This has wings. The wings and the rudder and the horizontal stabilizers. Some good detail here under the wing. Let me adjust it. Yeah, that's better. Much better. There's some good detail here. And also inside the landing gear bay here, it looks really good too. But they always make here the walls like smooth, and there's nothing on the sides, just in the bottom. I don't know if it's really like that or not, or if there's any kind of details that are supposed to be on the sides too. But there's no examples of this aircraft left. They were all destroyed when Russia took over Romania. There's a couple of copies that are in museums, but they're not original aircraft. Looks really good, I think. Good detail and good panel lines. Here is let's look at the last tree here. And it looks like there's a lot of parts that are protected. And I would guess I haven't seen any engine parts yet, so there should be the engine parts that are protected that well. Part of my collection of foreign aircraft. I saw this and I was like, that's a cool looking aircraft. And colors are different too. You see, they were protecting mostly the piston rods here. But here's all the engine parts here in the middle. They look really good too, and there's no pin marks. You see, they're split in half, so it's not 4 rows. It's 2. You have to glue the 2 rows together, and then that's just one. Since there's no examples of this aircraft, it's going to be hard to find how this engine is supposed to look. So I might just have to come up with something. Here's the flaps. Here's the flaps. It's going to require some cleanup with these, as well as the landing gear doors. Going to require cleanup too. Landing gear looks good. I'm going to take a little cleanup there, but there's no pin marks in it except for the tabs. The wheels, not weighted like usual. So nobody ever weights the wheels. I don't know why. It's very seldom that you find a model of the aircraft that has weighted wheels with it. And I don't understand why they don't make that part of the detail of the aircraft. But I think it looks pretty good. Ah, look what I see here. It comes with the fret of photo etch. It's just small, and that's where the seat belts are. Yeah, seat belts. As well as there's another part here. I don't know what it is. It's probably part of the cockpit as well. It's nice to have some seat belts with the aircraft. They should all come with some sort of seat belts, the harness, but most of them don't. Don't really understand that. Here is the canopy. It's also protected in foam, which I find is, you know, especially on canopies, this foam protects it really well. And more companies to put thought into protecting the canopy. I've received so many canopies that are scratched. I found the tools necessary to fix it, but you know, it's just work that I shouldn't have to do really. It should come in new shape. But this one looks really good. It has a good border for the frame, 2 parts, and here is the sight. 2-part canopy and sight. It doesn't have any lights though. The wingtip lights and stuff. So some good detail and some detail that's not so good. Let me take a look here quick at the decals. They're covered. Good. I've also had decals from kits that weren't that old that are ruined because they weren't protected from the sun or from the heat. I might have those problems later too. Okay, so here's the decals. Most of them look pretty good, but these tail stripes have a some weird, I don't know what it is. It doesn't look all that good. And it's damaged a little bit there. Which in the end will be okay. We'll be able to get it off once it's wet. It'll come off. But I don't know, it has some weird, doesn't look good. You probably can't see it with the camera. I seriously doubt you can see it with the camera. Yep, there you can see it. See on the red how there's these little spots all over the place. But it's on the whole decal for the tail. It might be better to paint these stripes on anyways. And I have all 3 of those colors. This is a dark blue I can get from Revell. And this is like insignia yellow. And this, the 36 Carmine, that would pass really good to the red. So I'll paint the stripes on. The rest look good. So I mean, I see a couple of small problems with the kit. It doesn't have the clear parts of the lights. So I'll have to paint the lights on if they're even part of the molding. Might be able to see it on the wings. No, there's no light here on the bottom. And I also don't see any on the wingtip. So this has no lights at all. Even though here on the wing it looks like it might have a piece. It's supposed to be one. Here. It's a ridge where it might be a light. Other than that, it looks like a pretty good kit. It's a pretty good kit, I think. The only problems I see is that there's no lights on the wingtips or underneath or on the tail. I don't know where it would have lights, and since there's no copies anymore, or none of these aircraft exist anymore, it's going to be hard to find any information about it. Just like it's going to be hard to find information on the engine. I think it'll build into a nice example of the IA-80, and I think the reason why it's not so detailed is because there's no examples of the aircraft to go off of. They have designs. I read they still have the designs for it, but all the aircraft were destroyed from the Russians, so they don't have anything to design a model off of. I would recommend the kit. It looks pretty good. It didn't cost much, and it'll build into a nice one. Thanks for watching.